Right, let's talk about Mizuno. ST-230, yep, that's right, we've got some new Mizuno drivers for you today. We've got the ST-Z and the ST-X. There are 3 models in play this year for 2023 with Mizuno. The third one is more of a lightweight, ultra-high launching, ultra-forgiving one. We're going to focus on these two today. ST, speed technology, it's culminating at the ST-230. Why? Well, they think they've cracked it with this new Cortech Chamber right by the face. Before I get onto that, these clubs are gorgeous. I could take both of these home to my parents. These are such good looking clubs, and it's great because Mizuno have made some good metalwoods in the past, but I don't think anything that's looked this good. This could easily be the best looking driver of this year, and that's saying something. That puts it with the big 5. Now, there's not too much adjustability with these two. You've got obviously the adjustable hosel, and there is some weight at the back with the ST-Z, which is more of the straighter neutral one. It's right in the center, whereas with the ST-X, you can see it's more towards the heel, promoting a little bit of a draw bias, but nothing that's massive. But the Cortech Chamber, right by the face, what is this? Why is this so special? The Cortech Chamber actually encases a stainless steel weight, and what this does is it takes stress from the club face and is supposed to create an additional source of energy. As well as this, by it being really close to the face, with weight very close to the face, it's supposed to reduce spin, optimize that CG, and make this a bomber. Now, that all sounds pretty good, doesn't it? We're going to put it to the test here. I'm going to use the ST-Z first. It's more of a tour one, more for the players who want to hit it straighter, more of a neutral ball flight, would say. With maybe, I'm not saying fade, all right? I'm not saying fade, I'm saying neutral. But if we go back to the aesthetics of this driver, the blue is a lovely, really saturated blue, which isn't too out there. Then looking down at it, it actually reminds me a little bit of the Ping G430 LST, but this is blended a lot better. It looks so good. Now, if I ask you, stop what you're doing while you're watching me, but if I asked you, what do you think of if I say Mizuno? Go for it. I bet you it's irons. Don't lie, I bet you it's irons. And Mizuno know that. Their irons are the best in the game, I'll happily say that. But their metalwoods have always been slightly behind in popularity. Previous metalwoods that I tried by Mizuno were great, very consistent across the face, not the fastest, but it didn't feel great, is my one thing. What I'm expecting with this driver is a bit more consistency. I don't really too bothered how fast it is, but I want it to feel great. So we'll find out here. I'm a little bit injured, just FYI, so I don't think I'm going to get up to 180 ball speed, but I think around 170, low 170s would be pretty good. Yeah, just like that really. That's a good start, isn't it? It's the numbers I'm expecting. Some high launch as well. No, not high launch, ignore me. These come at an RRP of £499, which feels good. I'm saying this now, I've hit this a lot already. It feels good. Previously, the feel was a little bit too muted. Wasn't very pleasant. This has a little bit more to it. I'll tell you what, it's pretty straight as well. Oh, and then you do that, idiot. What I like about this driver, the ST-Z and the ST-X, which I'll get onto in a second, is that despite me hitting an absolute stinker with that one, ball speed's good, but it feels good. It does give you feedback, but despite me hitting that about 50 yards right, it still felt good, which is quite different to if we reminisce about the Stealth from last year. If you hit that across the heel and the toe, you'd be crying to your mother. Oh God, my back's gonna go before the end of this video. Yeah. I'm not gonna look at how fast that went. I think that was slightly out of the toe maybe. Okay, but that was a good swing. We're gonna see how fast that was together. How fast? 171, okay, really good numbers there. Spin is slightly high, but I think it's just because I haven't got my AVXs with me today. So a slightly lower spin would be ideal, but those numbers, that ball flight, as you can see, is good. And in terms of forgiveness, what I like about the ST-Z is although it is what we would consider a tour driver, I think it's for everyone. I think it really can be for a lot of golfers. And although I'm not getting the fastest of this day, I'll be honest, that's more of a me thing. We can see players like Keith Mitchell, Luke Donald, who's done very well this week, they're hitting it fast. It is up there in speed. Spinny? Oh, not that spinny, but again, that was a little bit high on the face. And what I'm liking is the ball speed disparity between this, although it is a little bit slow for me today, it's only about 4 or 5 miles an hour. You can see going to about 166 there. Not great, I'll be honest with you, but it's still providing quite a lot of forgiveness. If I could compare this to any driver that's been released over the last year, I think it would be more similar to Titleist in the TSR range. So I wouldn't rank it as fast as TaylorMade and Callaway, but to be honest, as you have seen today, in terms of my consistency, I'm hitting a lot of fairways. And that one there, I'll show you the strike mark on that one. I'm so happy with that one because of how bad it actually was. We're getting 305, 306, 307, nearly 310 yards there. But as you can see with the ball speed dropped a little bit there. If I just show you, you can see, yeah, with the T mark just there, it was about there. So very high on the face. Not a good shot, right? Well, it's 310 yards. But it's good though. I mean, you can see the spin is definitely slightly too high at 2,900, so we would need to get that down a lot. So this isn't necessarily the lowest spinning driver head in the world. There is other things such as the Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond, TSR4, that are a lot lower spinning, but this can be adjusted by a correct fitting. Ball speed though is very consistent at 168.3, not fast, but to be honest, when we're looking at this dispersion, I'm not really too bothered because all of those are hitting the fairway, averaging at 304 yards. Realistically, this driver head itself is very consistent, really consistent with dispersion, really consistent with overall ball speed. So for a lot of club golfers, this could be very helpful. The ST-X, which is what I've got in my hand here and what I'm just about to put into the shaft, is the higher lofted, so higher launching, and more of a draw bias club. Now this, if you think about Stealth HD, things like that, usually put people off, but a lot of tour players really liked the Mizuno ST-X because actually across the face it is supposed to be a little bit more consistent. So I'm really interested with this because I've got the same shaft in there and this could make it a little bit better in terms of my actual ball speed. Let's find out. It's a lovely looking club down at address. You can't really tell the difference between the ST-Z and the ST-X. I would say it does look slightly closed, but nothing drastic. Spinny, that's a shame. I think both models are going to be in that upper echelon on spin. That's a nice shot. There's not really that much draw bias in there. Otherwise I would be most certainly hitting it left. But it is spinning a little bit too much. We're going to notice this being slightly higher launching, slightly higher spinning. But despite that, it feels very solid. It feels, so with that Cortech Chamber, I think it's very helpful to have a little bit of mass behind that face because you can feel a lot of solidity. Is that a word? But you know, it feels very strong when you're hitting a ball. There's a lot of flexion, which is a good thing for Mizuno to add because it did feel a little bit weak before in the previous iteration. We're not going to look at the ball speed yet. We're going to look for ourselves. That felt nice though. Not that far, but that felt a lot better in terms of, that one was out the middle, I thought. And we're going to have a look. Although it was out the middle, yeah, you can see that the ball speed is okay. Still pretty consistent around that 165 to 170 mark, with the backspin being what I think is its lowest point for the ST-X and ST-Z range. So, ooh-wee, it's a beauty. Yeah, good one there, look at that. We like that a lot, don't we? We like that a lot. Yeah, 312, I think that's the best one I've hit all session there. And what I like about it is consistent and it is making fairways. This one actually, the ST-X, what I like about it is that it just feels a little bit more forgiving, maybe. Mizuno, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels a little bit more forgiving across the face. Now what's interesting with these numbers is, yes, the spin is quite high, the ball speed isn't great, and the dispersion actually isn't as good as I thought it was. Pretty similar to the ST-Z, but I felt like I was a little bit more confident down at address. If we compare these two, you can actually see that, okay, you know what? Yes, the ST-Z was a bit faster, launched a little bit lower, spin pretty comparable, and to be honest, all those numbers are very similar to each other. And actually the dispersion looked like I was a little bit straighter with the ST-X, but nothing major. So these are actually quite similar drivers to each other, but I actually preferred the ST-X, which wasn't something that I thought I would say at the start of this session. Let me know what you guys think of the ST-X and ST-Z, because these are some lovely looking drivers, and I think this will make a bit of a dent in the metalwood scene. I think a lot of people will be attracted to these drivers based on looks alone. Then once they hit it, if they get fit correctly for it, which is what we will suggest here at GolfMagic and what obviously people at Gray's Golf here, one of the best fitting venues in the Southeast, will suggest as well, you will get a bomber of a driver. I don't think it's a low spinning bomber. I think the top spot of that will go to another brand, but for a lot of club golfers, I think the ST-Z and the ST-X will do the job very, very well. So let me know what you think of these drivers down in the comments. And of course, if you are new to GolfMagic, guys, smash that subscribe button to keep up to date with all of our videos. This will feature in our best drivers of this year, but where will it rank? Find out very soon. I'll catch you at the next video.